Hello, everybody. We are back with our second episode of Satisfactory Update 6. I know last episode was kind of a blur as we got started on a bunch of stuff. We built the space elevator and we unlocked a whole bunch of milestones, eventually ending up at unlocking coal power. This episode, we are going to take things a fair bit slower. I'm hoping that we'll be able to move away from this overpowered starting base area and head off to a new frontier, somewhere that I have never based before in any other world. And there we'll be able to start up some infrastructure. We'll get the basic materials we need for coal power. We'll start up a factory for plates, rods, rotors, and everything that we've unlocked so far. And hopefully, by the end of it all, we'll have a beautiful factory producing automated power for us. As you can see, beyond the lands of our starting area, there's a beautiful world out there that we have yet to explore. This area has a ton of nodes, but they're all in a very constrained space. You can see we have iron nodes over there, and then our copper is just a short distance away from everything else. While that's really useful for getting started as fast as we did, what I really hope to do is build big factories that produce tons and tons of resources, and we need a lot of space for that. I would love to disassemble everything over here and get started on our exploration journeys. And I'm really, really hoping that we don't die, because as you can see, there's a lot of terrain that we have to go up, down, take fall damage, and encounter creatures and all of that. Let's get started with the episode. First thing we've done is disassemble all of our stuff that we had built up. We had an equipment workshop, a hub, and a couple of portable miners, but those are now safely stored in my inventory. Our hub parts and all of our portable miners are packed away and we are ready to go. I've freed up a little bit of inventory space, which means that as we run along, we'll be able to collect some food for ourselves. This will be super handy in case we encounter any enemies that we don't really want to face. I can already hear in the distance there's some creatures that will be running past, and I don't want to deal with them all too much. One of the most important things around any satisfactory base is the availability of iron nodes. So what we're going to do, after turning on our flashlight, we're going to scan for all the iron nodes in the area. I'm hoping that we'll be able to find a nice big set of nodes, like I can tell that we have in the distance over here. I noticed that there's also a way down right over here that might be able to take us down into the Spire Coasts. Spire Coast is a brand new area that was completely revamped in Update 6 to have a lot more foliage and a lot more interesting things to look at. I'm just gonna quickly descend to this completely unstable cliff and ignore the spiders over there. Yes, those are spiders. I know that they look like cats, but that's because I have Satisfactory's arachnophobia mode turned on, which makes them all look like cute, friendly, slightly glitchy, slightly deadly cats. We are now inside the Spire Coasts. This area is absolutely beautiful. There's some bees up there that I'm totally gonna wake up. As you can see, there's all these overhanging rocks, mushrooms, and so much foliage all over the ground over here. Heading into this back area, I see a waterfall and some beautiful water scenery. Is this coral under the water? Oh, it's so pretty. Oh my goodness. To the best of my knowledge, there are no iron nodes around here. The Spire Coasts purely has oil nodes. Makes sense. The most beautiful part of the world they want you to destroy with oil. Well, I know there's a bunch of iron over that way, but I'm actually going to head in this direction and see where that takes us. 800 meters is quite a ways for us to explore, but I'm up for the challenge. Goodness, the Spire Coast is so pretty. I wish I could just stand in the Spire Coast and admire the beauty of all the waterfalls and all that stuff all day, but Gotta get building a factory. Maybe we'll come back here once we're building an oil plant or once we have some better tools for exploration. We're now heading out of the Spire coast into the desert, and I see that there's a deadly fire-breathing creature over here that's trying to stop us from making our way to the iron nodes, and I won't let that happen. I'm just gonna quickly slide jump away from it. Well, I found the iron nodes. They're both pure nodes, which is pretty nice, I'll say. But I don't know if there's anything else around here other than these fire-breathing creatures, which I so despise. Ah! Might have to flee. Aha! I found some food. We've needed this. Please, barrel nuts, feed me. I need it all. I need as much food as I can get. Well, we're close enough to the iron nodes that I think it's a good time to look for the others. See if there's any copper nearby. There is. There's a little bit right over there. Any limestone? There is. Any coal? Please. Please, please. Give me some coal. Give me some coal, please. Oh, you're joking me. Coal is that far away? Maybe we'll do a little bit more exploring before we settle down over here. I may have just found a cave. This is a little bit scary. I don't like caves all that much. They have spiders and they have deadly creatures, and oh my word. I found a cave and they have spiders. Friendly cats. They're not friendly. I'm running. I'm fleeing. I will not allow myself to be defeated by cats before I even have my hub set up. Anyway, we're heading over in this direction because I heard there's some iron ore around here. 200 meters, we can make it. And it's up there. Of course it is. See if there's any easy way of getting up there. No, what we're gonna do, we're gonna do what they call a pro strat. We're gonna build a crafting bench up here and use that as a perfect ledge to hop up. Nailed it. It's getting dark. I hate when it gets dark in this game because you can't see things, but at the same time, it's just so beautiful. Wait, pro strats again. We made it up. And this is about where I find out that the iron node was down there all along, wasn't it? Let's see. Oh, hi. Hi, friend. I will not allow myself to be beat by you. Aha! I got you. Alright, so it's up there. Great. Is there any coal around? Limestone? Copper? Tell me. There is some copper off in that direction. It's a little bit far, but I think it'll do for us. There's some limestone also off in that direction, but I really don't want to build over there. Much as it is nice to have an iron node that has such a beautiful view, I don't think this is the base spot for us either. Let's keep rolling. We are in the midst of a very, very dangerous jungle where 800 hogs are trying to kill us, and it's pitch black and I can't see anything, and I'm running low on food. This is a dangerous situation, and I have the game paused because I'm terrified. What I'm going to try and do is build the hub somewhere, anywhere, anyhow, somehow, so that I can respawn inside of it instead of respawning back at the start of the world. Let's hope this goes well. I'll take you along for the journey. We have it. We did it. We built the hub. We built the hub. If we die, we respawn in here now. Oh my god, do you hear that? Do you hear the noises? This is horrifying. I'm so glad I made it out alive from there. But, ooh. Well, looks like we have a problem here, and you know what I'm gonna do about it? I'm just gonna turn them down for a second and ignore them. Perfect. Alright, let's take a look at what the nodes are that we have in this area. Iron node over there. Iron node over there. Iron node over there. Iron node over there. We're standing on top of one. Oh, that's perfect. Bunch of copper nodes just a few hundred meters in that direction. That's brilliant. Limestone? We have a limestone node right over there. And even more in the distance. Oh my goodness. And how about coal? This is the one I expect we'll have some trouble with. What? There's some coal over there as well? Oh my goodness. This area is perfect for our needs. Well, all of you hogs are the worst ever, and I hate you all, but thank you for bringing me to this beautiful location where we'll be able to start up our base. Okay, well, as the sun rises, I think it's time that we make some kind of probably futile, probably deadly attempt at murdering these creatures. How many of them are there? 7 of them? I'm just gonna keep swinging all of my stuff, and I'm about to die. I'm gonna die already. This is not going great. I don't think we've killed a single one of them yet. Stand up here, grab our stuff, and damn it, stop. Okay. Can I kill you from up here? Can I hurt you in any way? No. So, in order to avoid the pain of showing you my death loop, I'm just going to gradually kill them all off camera. And I'll come back to you when this area is as peaceful and beautiful as we hope that it'll be. A lot of deaths later, we have a pile of carcasses lying around us. And what I am going to do is not remove them. I'm only going to remove them if they actually begin to present a challenge to us. But besides that, I'm going to leave them here as a telltale sign of the troubles we face just to get to this area. Because that was a challenge, let me tell ya. Hey, I found a blue power slug right behind our hub. I was able to see the signs of that a little bit earlier, but it's pretty cool that we have that. Let us get our stuff. Actually, you know what? I'm going to leave this all here. What we shall do is examine the iron nodes around us. Here we have a pure one. Off in this direction, we have a pure one. Okay, what we're going to do now, we are going to submit the Field Research Milestone. The Field Research Milestone unlocks for us the map, the MAM, and a few other very handy things. We have most of the resources for it already. I just have to craft up a couple more screws. So let me drop a bunch of stuff off into here and get us some screws. Do I have any left? No, I don't. We need 300 screws. That'll be easy. We can craft more than 2,200 of them. I'll be back to you once we've got this done. We accidentally crafted a few more than we needed because I got distracted. That's quite alright. Let's get this field research milestone. The map has been unlocked. Let's open the map. This looks a little bit overwhelming, I bet, but I can explain. So, I'm explaining this a little bit later than I probably should have, but what I have done is I've installed a handful of mods. These aren't very significant mods, but they just kind of enhance the vanilla experience. First, I have the All Poles Have Lights mod, which showcases like progress lights on each of the power poles. So if there's no power, it'll be red, but if there is, then it'll be white or green looking. Then I have the Construction Preferences mod, so once we unlock Mark II power poles and we're constructing them, everything will be Mark II by default, which will be so handy. I have the Just Pause mod, which we saw a little bit earlier. Hitting the pause key on my keyboard displays a huge pause over the front of the screen, and all of the activities and the in-game timer get paused. Then we have the crash site beacons place, which is what we just saw on the map. This puts a map marker at every single crash site on the map. It's a little bit overwhelming, I know, but what it does is it lets us much more easily track down hard drives, crash site locations, and so much more. So once we do get around to the stage of needing a lot of hard drives, we have everything set and ready to go over here. Then we have the Ghost Construction mod, which I'm not really sure if I like or not, but I'm willing to give it a shot. This mod basically implements a bunch of fake buildings into the inventory, so we can plan out factories a whole lot better. Then we have the None Equipment mod, which allows us to craft empty hands and empty HUD mods, so that when we're taking screenshots for thumbnails and whatnot, I can hide everything a whole lot better. We then have the mod loader, which is pretty standard, it doesn't actually change anything about the game, and we have the utility mod. The pack utility mod is a little bit of a cheat, and I'm not going to use it inside of a world like this, but what the pack utility mod lets us do is, in other worlds, like a creative world, I can fly around and find the best spot for a base, figure out what's needed on the drop pods, figure out what's all around me, find the nearest source of water, all that stuff. It just simplifies my life a lot. I use the pack utility mod in other worlds like this one, which is my creative world, which only has 20 minutes played in it, but in this world I can just fly around and do all that I would otherwise do. In our main world, on the other hand, we're not going to use something like that because it is a little bit cheaty. Okay, I've reset the ambient volume, and we will now get on with what we were doing. What I realized I can actually do is in update 6, I can actually disable all of these markers on the map, because that is so cool. All of the crash sites are in this one category, which means that I can easily toggle them on and off and delete them or remove them or change them in any way that I need to as I want. For now, we're going to keep them off, so it's a little bit less overwhelming, and so that we know that we're not spoiling any content for ourselves. Around this area, you can see that there's a ton of things for us. I'm not sure where we'll have our water sources for our coal nodes. Most likely they'll be around this area, but I don't know yet. What we can do now that we have the map unlocked is take a look on this map at all of the nodes that are around us. If we zoom in real close, we can see that we have an iron node hidden beneath us, a pure iron node over there, pure copper over there, and a bunch of coal nodes over here. We have a pure limestone over there, which we'll probably use for the majority of our concrete production, but we have another one over in this distance, which is probably going to be close to our copper plant. That's super convenient, and I love it. What I want to focus on doing first, as I've said in the last episode, as I promised, is getting an automated power source up and running. What we're going to do is use the Satisfactory to-do list feature. Super convenient thing where we can add stuff to the sidebar and it'll display all the materials that we need to gather in order to do it. What I've gone ahead and done is added all the stuff that I'm hoping that we'll need for a very beginner's coal plant. What I've done is I've added a water extractor, which we need to get water to our power plant. I've added a coal generator, which will actually provide the power, as well as the power lines that we'll need to spread it all over the world. I've added a biomass burner, which we'll need to get the miner and the water kickstarted and up and running, as well as the miner itself. Then I've added a couple of the conveyors and the water pipelines which we'll need to get the resources between each other and towards the power supply. As you can see, a lot of these resources are pretty easy to get, and we have most of them already sitting in this crate. We have everything that we need in excess quantity. We have more rotors, cable, wire, rods, copper, concrete, plates, and portable miners than we need, but we don't have any copper sheets, and we don't have enough reinforced iron plates. So I think the reinforced iron plates we're able to craft up pretty easily over here. All we need is a few more screws. Then for the copper sheets, we're going to need to head out to the copper node way in the distance over there, and get ourselves some more copper ore, which we can then handcraft into some copper sheets to get ourselves the basics all set up. Excuse me, I'm just over here crafting up my plates and I hear footsteps? You dare to return to this area after I've killed all of your brethren? How could you? I've already set up camp over here. You must die. Lasted long for you, didn't it? I feel no remorse. No remorse whatsoever for killing that ugly, hateful creature. I have crafted up all the reinforced iron plates that we need, and I've set a beacon for the copper area, so let's follow the tracker using the compass above and head over there to the best of our ability. There's already some hogs trying to attack us, and I will not stand for that. Copper node should be somewhere right around here. Aha! There it is! I see a spitter is defending it, so let's take you out. You will die today, or I will. Either way, this will be a battle to the death of one of us. Did I get you? Did I take you out? Did I kill you? Please tell me. I did it. I got the plasma spitter remains. They are mine now. I see that we have some water here, which is pretty nice. It's always a beautiful sight. We have this amazing clearing, even though it looks kind of foggy, doesn't it? I can't tell if that's just my video settings or maybe it's a new weather type that they've added. I'm not sure. Regardless, we're going to set down a couple of portable miners over here, and we'll get started on making our way towards having enough copper sheets. Luckily, we don't need all too many because all we're doing is setting up a very basic power, but it's still going to be handy to have more than we have listed on this to-do list, because in my experience, you run out real quickly. We've now got all the copper sheets that we need. I think we're in a good place where we should be able to head home and begin our next journey from there. Keep on bouncing, slide jumping in this game. The whole movement system of Satisfactory, honestly, is just brilliant. It's remarkably simple, but you can do so much with it. You can slide around, you can move your head, and it's all so smooth, and that's, in my opinion, the most important part. Right, we have almost everything that we need to be able to set out on our adventure. I'm just double checking our list, making sure that we have everything that we would possibly need, would possibly want. Good, I checked. We need some biomass just to be able to power everything up. I'll take a little bit of extra of a lot of these resources, honestly, just to be sure that we have all that we'll need going forward. And now I'm going to remove this marker and we're going to scan for our coal nodes. Our coal nodes are going to be a fair distance away, I think, probably like another 500 meters. Nope, only 300. That's not bad. Let's take the one closest to the water for now, since we're somewhat short on resources. We'll add a new marker for coal power. We'll set the view distance to infinite, and then we'll highlight the marker. Hopefully there will be a beacon. There it is! You can see it. That's the beacon that I was really hoping would be in the coal area. Anyway, we're now going to head over to that beacon after we get our Xenozapper equipped in our hand to deal with any of the threats that might be guarding that area. I'll take a couple of bites of my pale berries just to make sure that we're a little bit safer on health. And we'll head over there. Oh my! This area is stunning! We're going to be able to build a coal power plant over here. Oh ho ho, we're lucky, lucky, lucky. I see some coal already, and I see the water. This is perfect. This is a perfect location for our coal. That said, I do know that these pink trees tend to spawn spiders at night, and that is somewhat terrifying. Oh, look at this tiny spitter under the legs of the bean. I call it a bean. I know that there is a technical in-game name for these beans, but I just call them beans. They're technically like a fusion of octopus and giraffes and other beans and all kinds of stuff, but I'm not having it. Oh no, there's some poison clouds in that direction. So I guess we're not going to be using the other 2 coal nodes for a while, but there is a crash site. That's real handy as well, because crash sites, as I've mentioned before, are an amazing provider of resources for us. We take a moment to admire this beacon. It's remarkably simple, but it just looks so fantastic. Anyway, it's time. We're going to get our first coal power set up. First, we're going to build a miner to make sure that we're extracting all the coal that we need from it. We're going to set up a water extractor. Good sign, this water source is actually deep enough to provide the water that we need for all of our coal. I'll set up a few foundations over here. We're probably going to change this around later on as we expand our coal power to cover this whole region and make use of all these nodes. But in the meanwhile, this is a pretty good, this is a big enough platform for our coal generator. Coal generators are massive, but we should be able to fit it on this platform. We can now connect the coal generator up to our miner, which is going to provide it with the coal that it needs, as well as to the water extractor, which is going to give it all the water that it needs. As you can see, it needs the fuel, the coal, and the water. It's going to consume 45 a minute, which is fine because this produces 300 per minute, or maybe it's 120 per minute. Regardless, good enough for our needs. Let's hook all three of these up to this power line, which is going to become our main power source for the meantime. We're then going to build ourselves a biomass burner, which we're going to plug into the system. I actually want to disassemble the miner's line because I'm hoping that I can begin to get some water first. Let's watch the beautiful animation of everything spinning up. You can see just how much detail the devs put into this game. The fan inside begins to spin, the top turbine also begins to spin. These side things are even shaking as they're extracting the water, and underground there's another bit that's pulling the water through. There's just so much detail in this tiny little thing. As we look inside the coal power generator, you can see that the water is beginning to fill up. Once we've reached the maximum, which is going to happen in just a moment, I'm going to take this and I'm going to connect it up to our miner. We're now going to begin to generate some coal, but this miner too has such an amazing animation. You can see that after it got set up, it started to dig into the ground, just plunging down deep into the ore vein. Oh my goodness, and now we are getting the coal output. As the coal begins to fly in, we'll be able to see how much it consumes. It consumes 15 coal per minute, and we now already have 75 megawatts of power, which is just crazy. Each of these biomass burners only did 30, and one single automated coal generator produces 75 for us. Now, we are going to want a lot more power pretty soon, honestly. As you saw just from that starting run, we ended up needing 3, 4, even 7 biomass burners to get us started last episode, but this is a good start for now where we can begin to get some of our factories set up. With our first coal power plant set up, I'm going to stop highlighting the marker, but I am going to keep it on here because it's a pretty important place that we are going to be visiting more and more as the episodes go on. We're going to want to head home now, so I'm going to mark that as our home, highlight that. There should now be a beacon where our home is. Yeah, you can see just the peak, the tip of it poking up into the sky. Alright, we've got a long way to head home, and I'm going to make sure that we actually have all the resources we need. We have lots of cable, lots of stuff for our power lines, so let's take this power line all the way home. I bet we're going to run into a few monsters, so I'm glad that we have enough health for the time being at least. Let's hope it goes well. I see there's a giant alpha spitter over here. Oh no. Oh no, I don't like this. Can I just run away from you, please? Don't shoot me, don't chase me. Just let me flee in terror as I want to. Right, let's escape this quick route. We will escape safely, we will get our power up. I believe in us. We're a strong, independent fix-it pioneer. We made it! We made it with our power. We are back home at the hub where all of the dead hog carcasses lay. Now that we have coal power set up, I'm hoping that we can get some of our basic infrastructure all set and ready to go. We've just unlocked the logistics milestone, which I realized I would need to be able to make the most efficient factories. This gave us conveyor splitters and mergers, which lets us, well, split and merge conveyors so that we can use one input source into multiple outputs and vice versa. I'm going to set up our concrete node because having foundations is essential, and having enough concrete, as I've said in the previous one, is so important. The concrete node is able to fuel 3 assemblers on its own, which will be so nice for getting a start, but we have to have logistics in order to fuel 3 assemblers from 1 concrete miner. Now that we have that, I'll be able to set up the concrete factory as well as all of the others so much more efficiently. I'll come back to you when that's done. Brilliant! We've made our way over to this concrete node and we have got stuff set up. Right now we are only using Mark 1 belts, which means that this node will only be going at half of its capacity in the meanwhile. But to avoid that spitter down there, we just built up here. So we placed the miner down from a distance, and then we connected it to a conveyor lift, to our merger over here, to our splitter over here, and we split it off into 3 different constructors. Then we added this merger over here and hooked it up into 2 different storage containers. They both link together in the back, but this will be super helpful for storing as much concrete as we possibly can. Honestly, this is not going to produce too much concrete for us, only like 20 per minute or so at the moment, but it'll be a fantastic start and really helpful for us as we move forward, because we'll be using a lot of these foundations to build all of our factories on. What we need to do now is connect them all up to the power, which shouldn't be too much of an issue. Done. Everything now has power and we're ready to go. All we have to do is make sure that everything's connected properly as it should be. Watch all this slowly make its way up here. And now, as you can see, all the constructors are beginning to do their magic. It's going to be pretty slow right now. As you can see, they're only going to be working around 60 to 50% efficiency, but that's fine because we're making our first concrete. And here it is. It's finally made its way through this mess of painfully slow conveyors, and it's made it to us at the start over here. I've just got done editing everything down, and this is a pretty long episode so far. We've gone a little bit over time. That's alright, because we have got so much done. We have a concrete power plant all set up, a coal power plant all set up, and a brand new location in Update 6 of Satisfactory that's going to become our permanent base location going forwards. There's so much around here, there's so much potential, and there's so much more that I just cannot wait to do. Unfortunately though, as I said, we are out of time for this episode, so I really look forward to the next one, but for now, I will say goodbye to all of you. Thank you for watching if you did make it this far, and I hope this has been a great look at the Spire Coast Satisfactory, the overall world in the game, and a little bit slower than our previous one. Until next time, goodbye!